Have you ever been texting someone, everything seems fine, and suddenly they just disappear? No message, no goodbye, no explanation. You replay every conversation wondering, did I do something wrong? Let's talk about the psychology behind ghosting and what's really happening in the minds of people who vanish without a word. Ghosting isn't always about cruelty or indifference. Most of the time, it's about emotional discomfort and avoidance. When someone ghosts, it's rarely because they don't care, it's because they don't know how to deal with uncomfortable emotions. For some people, confrontation feels like danger. Ending things honestly, saying, I'm not feeling this connection anymore, feels too awkward, too vulnerable, too risky. So instead of facing that discomfort, they disappear. Ghosting becomes a way to protect themselves from guilt, rejection, or emotional responsibility. Psychologists call this avoidant coping. It's when a person avoids emotional pain by running away from it instead of dealing with it. They may not have learned healthy ways to communicate or end things. Maybe they grew up in an environment where expressing feelings led to conflict, or where emotions weren't talked about at all. So silence becomes their safety mechanism. There's also fear of being the bad person. Some people ghost because they can't stand the idea of hurting someone directly. They think disappearing quietly is kinder than being honest, but what they don't realize is that silence often hurts more than truth ever could. Then there's emotional overload. People who are anxious, depressed, or overwhelmed might ghost simply because they don't have the energy to explain themselves. Their mind goes into shutdown mode, not out of cruelty but out of exhaustion. Ghosting for them is a pause button that never gets unpressed. But here are the key truth. Ghosting says more about their emotional maturity than your worth. It's not proof that you're unlovable, it's proof that they struggle to handle emotional tension. You can't force someone to have a level of emotional honesty they never learned to build. And here's something rarely talked about: sometimes ghosting isn't intentional. Life happens, phones break, people get pulled into stress, work, or crisis. Not every silence is rejection, but consistent ghosting is a pattern, and patterns reveal psychology. If you've been ghosted, the healthiest thing you can do is resist the urge to chase closure from the person who left. Real closure doesn't come from them. It comes from understanding that their silence is their answer, and you deserve someone emotionally strong enough to use their words, not their absence. If you're someone who has ghosted others, this isn't about shame. It's about awareness. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of when it comes to being honest? Because silence might protect you in the short term, but it also prevents real connection. True peace doesn't come from avoiding hard talks, it comes from learning to have them gently and respectfully. At its core, ghosting is a symptom of emotional avoidance, not evil, just unhealed. And once you understand that, you stop taking it personally. You stop chasing people who vanish and start choosing people who communicate. Thanks for watching. If you've ever been ghosted or accidentally ghosted someone, share your story in the comments. You never know who might relate. And if you enjoy learning about human behavior and emotional psychology, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because understanding people is the first step toward healing yourself.